What is going on, everybody? This is COTW Games. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the potential new map for the Hunter Call of the Wild. Now, I've recently done a video over if the Call of the Wild would come to Texas. I feel like that is my choice of where they would go. And I did a whole video explaining, who they'd bring in to do all the voice acting, where it would be in Texas, what to base it off of, what animals there would be, even new animals. So go check that video out right after this one. And let's get into it. So there's a lot of speculation about where the next map would be. I think there's a big three right now, and it is Australia, some type of Asian map, and another African map. So today we're going to talk about the African side because I have some pretty good ideas for it, and we're going to talk about the animals, how they're going to set up the map, and where exactly it would be. Starting off with the landscape, we have Virunga, which is a savanna style map. This is based in southern Africa. And with this next one, if it does return to Africa, I would like to see more of the mountainous, like river delta part of Africa. I think the dry season plains Africa is a bit too overplayed in a lot of outdoors games today. So it would be nice to get a different setting than what we usually see when it comes to Africa. Now, I would also like to see a bit more of the civilization side, which kind of Mississippi brought into the game. We had like buildings and businesses and stuff that you could kind of walk around. You're like, oh yeah, there's civilization there too. I would like to see that in this Africa map if they do decide to go this direction. I'd like to see a couple farms, maybe base it off of a hunting ranch. I think that'd be awesome. Have some villages nearby or something. Now, when it comes to the overall content of this map, we're going to talk about the animals here in just a second. But the storyline, we kind of had the dealing with poachers storyline with the Virunga Savannah. I would like to see this one kind of lean more towards the hunting ranches of like Western Africa. So the hunting ranches, a lot of people are kind of miscued by what the hunting ranches actually are, what the benefits they are to the local villages and local population. So it'd be really cool for them to bring in somebody, who maybe works on a ranch or something, and then have it explained throughout the story, how like a lot of the meat and everything goes to local villages and such. I think that'd be a really cool idea for that. Now, some really cool content that I think a lot of people would really enjoy and would definitely sell probably as its own DLC extremely well would be another hunting lodge, but this one be customizable in some aspects and more stuff to be purchasable through the hunting lodge. Now, what I mean by this is maybe like if you buy the DLC for this hunting lodge, or you can add it free into the game, and you could purchase everything throughout with in-game money. So maybe you have like 3 rooms, like a main room and 2 side rooms at first, and then you can customize like what kind of floor, what color walls you want. Maybe like some rooms, like you could buy like a bar room. I know there's one in the Sasiki Safari one. Hopefully I'm saying that one right. But I know there's like a bar room and like a pool table room and such in there. If you could like buy those rooms and customize your own lodge, I really think a lot of people would enjoy that. Alright, now let's get into the part that everybody's really waiting for. So we're not going to talk about any of the animals that are already added into the game. We're just going to I'm going to talk about a handful of big game animals that you could add with a Western Safari or a Western African map. Number 1 being the Hartebeest. I really like this animal. I mean, I think they're like 800 to 950 pounds a pop. So you're kind of talking almost within that elk range, almost within that red deer range. They're big animals. Probably be like a class 6. In my eyes, class 7 maybe. You're kind of pushing it with that, but yeah, just kind of like that elk size, red deer size. They're very unique looking. I think they'd be some really cool trophies. Number 2, we have one of my favorites, and I really think this would be a super unique looking animal in the game. This is the eland. These things are absolutely monstrous. They're humongous animals, and I really think they look awesome. Number 3 is the hyena. I think this would be a really dope predator to have in the game. There's a lot of different stuff you could do with them. I think you could take a lot of the coding from wolves that are currently in the game and add it to hyenas and just kind of reskin the wolves. Um, Obviously, they are pack animals. Every once in a while, you see a wolf by themselves. Every once in a while, you see a hyena by themselves. And they'll kind of surround you and kind of get up in your face a bit. And I really think this would be a very unique animal to add to the game. Number 4 is going to be the Nyala or Nyala, one or the other. Sorry if I'm butchering this. But yeah, this is an absolutely stunning animal. A little bit on the smaller side. A lot of their fur kind of makes up for their weight. They look a bit bigger than they actually are. I would say they're a little bit bigger than your average whitetail or mule deer. Just like the neck size up, kind of in between the elk and whitetail deer size. But yeah, these would be super unique animals. I could see some awesome mounts with this. If they could like incorporate the fur and all the colorings and really make them vibrant, I think they'd really stand out on landscape. Number 5 is a super unique animal. This is the water buck, and again, this is kind of like right below that size of an elk. A lot of these animals that I have on here are going to be within that class 5 through class 7, 8 range. Except for the very last 3, I would consider all of those class 8 and class 9. But yeah, this is the water buck, super unique. Really cool looking. I could see some really awesome trophies coming out of this one, but I mean, there's not going to be much of a difference, but it'd be kind of like the Impala or something. Like the antlers aren't going to be, or the horns. These are horns. The horns wouldn't be that different. They would just kind of get longer. So not like a super unique animal that's going to have a whole lot of character, but another unique animal you could add to the game that's brand new. And these next 2 animals are some of my favorite. If I ever go hunt in Africa, these are the 2 animals that I would definitely pursue. And this number 1 is going to be the sable or the roan. These are super unique, like antelopes. Extremely fast, super elusive. They're absolutely gorgeous creatures. Again, about that whitetail size. Very unique horns. I've seen a couple of these in real life, and they always have very unique horns, and they really stand out anywhere they're at. And for my favorite animal of all time when it comes to African species, we're talking about the black wildebeest. We already have the blue wildebeest, which is very much a herd animal and such. Black wildebeests are a bit different. They're a bit more of a loner animal, but they are absolutely stunning. They are sprinters of the savannah and such. They have this very unique mohawk and the fur coming off of their face and behind their elbows there on their breastplate. They're just super unique looking. Their horns are very unique. I really enjoy looking at this animal. I think they'd be an awesome mount in the game. Now, we're going to talk about what I consider the big 3 of Africa. These are the last 3 animals that I think if you add any of these 3, you're guaranteeing sales. Like, any of these 3 animals, people are going to go absolutely crazy. They're going to be super exciting to hunt. I don't know exactly how Expansive Worlds would add them to the game, or what exactly these animals would be doing, or how they'd operate in the ecosystems, but we're going to talk about them real quick. With number 1, I consider this kind of the least exciting one. We have hippopotamus. With the recent addition of alligators to the Mississippi Acres Preserve, this is another water animal. It kind of comes up out of the water, chills on the banks. Goes back in, can dive. So we have the coding and such for this kind of behavior now, and I think hippo would be a super unique animal. Obviously, it's going to be class 9. You're going to have to use that 7mm, the 300 Win Mag, stuff like that. Maybe they add an elephant gun into the game. I don't think you're bringing elephants to Call of the Wild, so that's not in my big 3. But if you bring in an elephant gun, like a 50 caliber or something, one of those big single shot rifles or double barrel rifles, I think that would be another unique weapon to add. But yeah, hippos being number 1 of my big 3, I think they'd be unique. It'd be super cool, bigger tusk, you'd have different colorations and such. I think they'd be neat. And number 2 of my big 3 are going to be the giraffes. There's not a whole lot to say about them. Obviously, they're super unique. They'd stand out very well among the landscape. I think they'd be neat. There's some storylines and stuff you could do with them. yeah, I think adding the giraffes would probably be my second choice out of the big three. And yeah, again, this is going to be probably a Class 8 animal, I'd imagine. I don't think they're quite as thick as the hippo or the next animal, but yeah, Class 8. I feel like your 308s and 30-06s and such would be good enough to single lung this animal. It's kind of like the size of a moose, I'd imagine, width-wise. But yeah, this would be a like Class 8 animal. I don't know how exactly we would go about hunting them or whatever, but it'd be unique to see them in the game. And number 3 of my big 3 is a bit more controversial. Obviously, West Africa is home to the black rhinoceros. And this is a very controversial topic. I mean, they are critically endangered, but the rhino is available to hunt in Africa. And this is what I've kind of been talking about with the hunting ranch story. Like, if you could bring in somebody who could explain what hunting ranches do for the African wildlife population and such, like, yes, they are critically endangered, but if you have a male rhino that's killing other rhinos or killing elephants or something, they're called rogue animals. When you have these rogue animals, or a rhino that's getting to the age where he can't reproduce and it's just a pissed off male and he's going after everybody and stopping other rhinos from producing, these are rogue animals. So instead of just putting this animal down, the hunting ranches then offer the hunt to, hunters who want to come in and pay, I don't know, let's say $80,000, or US dollars. I'm from the US, so everything's kind of, that's how I know it. So let's say this hunter pays $80,000 to come harvest this rogue rhino that the ranch has decided on. He has to go. For the good of the population, he has to go. So this hunter comes in, pays $80,000. That money goes to the local population, goes to that hunting ranch that, they provide jobs and such. And when the rogue rhino is taken out, all the herd's health goes up, because then younger rhinos are able to breed without being pestered by this old guy. And yeah, that's just, I think it'd be really neat. You'd have to be able to explain kind of why the rhinos are there, why you're hunting them, not just have them all over the place because they are critically endangered, but they would make a super, super unique animal to hunt. They would make some awesome mounts inside the game. Even if like Expansive Worlds came out and they're like, hey, the DLC was, let's say, $10 and we jumped it up to $15, you're getting a free lodge that has content in the lodge. You're getting a free weapon. You're getting, 6 to 8 new species, one of them being rhino. And that extra $5 goes to wildlife conservation of Western Africa or something, or some type of rhino population conservation group. Like, I would pay another $5 for that in a heartbeat. I would pay another $10 or $15 if it came down to it. I think it'd be an awesome species to have. The last 3, the rhino, giraffe, hippo, I'm still deciding on them myself. I think with the hartebeest, eland, hyena, nyala, waterbuck, sable, and wildebeest, I think you have more than enough for another map, including what we already have, like warthog, the scrub hare, the jackals. You could add the lynx even. Like, all of this stuff, it's enough. But I think if you add these, one of the big 3, the giraffe, hippo, rhino, I think you have way more people talking, especially the rhino. You're going to have a lot of people talking about it. A lot of people are going to buy the game. And like, hey, Expansive Worlds, like, if you had the $5 tip or something that I know is going to a donation fund or something, you can add the rhinos to the game. I don't think you're catching any flack for that. I think it'd be awesome, and it goes to a good cause. I think most of the people who play Call of the Wild would gladly throw in another $5 for some content like that. So yeah, this is the Africa map that I'm kind of envisioning. This is all the potential that I see it as. If you guys think of any other animals or something that you'd like to see in the map, or even if you want to talk about the Australian map or the Asian map or another map that you think it should be, just comment down below, like and subscribe for future content. I appreciate you guys checking out the video. I'm going to leave the Texas one that I did earlier, the Texas map, up here at the end credit scene or whatever. So check that out. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.